When she said those words, something inside me went quiet. Not angry quiet, just hollow. From now on, I'll decide when we meet. Stop pressuring me. I remember her tone. Cold. Final. As if I'd become a burden she was trying to shake off. We'd been together for 3 years. I'd known her moods, her laughter, her little silences, or so I thought. But that night, when her message appeared on my screen, I stared at it for 10 minutes straight, trying to find the woman I loved somewhere between the punctuation marks. I typed and erased my reply a dozen times. Okay. Take your time. That's what I finally sent. It was simple, polite, and cowardly. The distance began weeks before that text. First she stopped calling at night. Then came the excuses, late meetings, exhaustion. Just want some time alone. I understood everyone needs space. But the pattern didn't stop. The woman who used to fall asleep on video calls now took hours to reply to a single message. The woman who once begged me to visit her at work suddenly didn't, like unannounced visits. Still, I made excuses for her. Because when you love someone deeply, your mind becomes a defense lawyer for their behavior. The breaking point came one Friday evening. We had plans. Dinner at our usual spot, that cozy Italian place near the harbor. I'd even made a reservation. She texted 2 hours before. Can we skip tonight? Not feeling well. Need some rest. I replied instantly. Of course. Take care of yourself. Want me to bring soup or something? No answer. That silence stretched long enough to make the air around me feel heavy. I stared at my phone, scrolling through old photos of us. The beach trip, her birthday, the morning I'd surprised her with breakfast and she'd cried because no one ever did that before. I believed her back then. I believed every word she said. At 9:47 p.m., I was driving to her place anyway. Not out of suspicion. At least that's what I told myself, but out of worry. The streets glowed under orange lamplight, slick from a light drizzle. My heart thudded faster the closer I got to her apartment. When I reached her street, I parked across from the building, engine running, windshield wipers moving rhythmically. Her window was lit. The curtains were drawn halfway. And then I saw it. A man, tall, with his arm around her shoulders, walking her to the door. She was laughing. That soft, tilted head laugh she used to save for me. He kissed her cheek. She didn't pull away. My stomach dropped so suddenly I thought I might throw up. I watched her step inside, the door closing behind her. The man stood there for a moment, smiling at the closed door, then walked away casually, as if he belonged there. I couldn't move. My hands were trembling so hard that the car keys jingled. For a full 5 minutes, I just sat there, breathing through the ache that spread like poison through my chest. Then I drove away. Not because I wanted to, but because I was afraid of what I'd say or do if I didn't. I didn't confront her that night. Or the next. Instead, I tested her. I called the next morning. She answered with a tired voice, pretending she'd just woken up. Sorry I didn't reply, she said. Fell asleep early. I think I caught a cold. My throat tightened. Yeah. You sound rough, I lied. Rest, okay. She hummed softly. You're sweet. I wanted to scream. Over the next few days, I watched her unravel our relationship piece by piece. She texted less. Cancelled more. Her affection came in polite fragments. Short replies, forced emojis, half-hearted miss you too messages. Finally I couldn't take it. We met the following week at a cafe. She sat across from me, stirring her coffee without looking up. I'd never seen her so distant. You've been different lately, I said carefully. Is something going on? She sighed like my concern was an inconvenience. I just need space, okay? You've been too clingy. I feel suffocated sometimes. My jaw clenched. Clingy. Because I want to see you more than once a week. It's not just that, she snapped. You don't get it, Daniel. I'm trying to find balance. From now on, I'll decide when we meet. Stop pressuring me. That was the moment. The one that cracked everything open. Sat back numb. The girl who once cried when we were apart for 2 days now couldn't stand the sight of me more than once a week. I didn't argue. I just nodded. All right. You decide. Inside, I already knew I was losing her. Or maybe I already had. 2 days later, I got my answer. My friend Mark worked in the same district where she lived. He texted me a photo, unprompted. Bro, hate to be the one to show you this. But isn't this Emily? It was her. Hand in hand with the same man I'd seen that night. Laughing, leaning close, sunlight spilling over them like the world had shrunk to just the two of them. The caption hit me harder than the image. You deserve better than lies, man. I didn't reply. I just sat there, staring at that photo until my eyes burned. Then I made a decision, calm, deliberate. I went to her apartment that evening. She opened the door, surprised. Daniel, you should have texted. I didn't want to pressure you, I said softly. She blinked. What? I just wanted to return something. I held up the small box she'd given me last Christmas. A keychain with our initials engraved. Thought you might want this back. Her face paled. Why are you acting weird? I'm not. I smiled faintly. Just finally giving you the space you wanted. Then I handed her my phone, the photo still open. She stared at it, lips parting, color draining from her face. Daniel, it's not. Don't, I said. My voice was steady, but inside, every part of me was screaming. Don't lie anymore. Tears filled her eyes. I didn't mean to hurt you. Then why did you? Silence. Heavy, suffocating silence. Finally she whispered. I don't know. It just happened. That was worse than any confession. Just happened. As if love were a switch she'd carelessly flipped off one day. I nodded slowly. Then I guess this just ends. She tried to touch my arm, but I stepped back. Take care of yourself, I said. And don't worry, I won't pressure you again. Then I walked away. That night I didn't sleep. I didn't cry either. I just lay there staring at the ceiling, replaying everything. Every moment, every lie, every look I'd ignored because I wanted to believe in us. The next morning I deleted her number. Blocked her on everything. Not out of hate but survival. For weeks, I drifted through days like a ghost. Friends tried to cheer me up. My mother said time would heal me. But betrayal doesn't fade easily. It clings, not to your heart but to your sense of self. It makes you question everything. Your worth, your judgment, your memories. Yet healing came quietly. One morning, months later, I found myself at that same harbor restaurant, alone. The same place she'd once laughed across from me. The waiter recognized me, smiled softly and said, "Table for one?" "For one," I said. And for the first time it didn't feel empty. I watched the sun dip below the water, turning the waves gold. For a moment I thought about her, not with anger but with something like gratitude. Because losing her had taught me something no love ever could. That peace doesn't come from who you hold on to. It comes from knowing when to finally let go.